Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, thank you, God, for another day and opportunity. Thank y'all, the Rich Gang family, for always coming, showing out, and showing support. But before we get any further, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And let's go ahead and reach 50 likes on today's video. Now, as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be bringing y'all the top 3 most rare, best small forward builds on NBA 2K22 next gen. Now, coming up at number 1, I'm going to bring y'all my personal favorite two-way pass first wing. So we're going to go ahead and make this build at 6'7", when it comes down to the weight, 181 and a 7'1" wingspan. Now with this build, we're going to be able to get contact dunks, shoot just as good as any other build, and then with the ability to play elite defense and still have some really good dribbling. Now, for the finishing, I'm going to go and leave it to where we get 22 finishing badges. For the shooting, I'm going to go with 24. That's going to be perfect for my offensive end, but then for the playmaking, pass accuracy, go ahead and put this to an 84. Max out that ball handle with a 77 speed with ball. Now right there we get 26 badges. Then for the defensive end, we're going to get a 94 perimeter defense, 84 for the steal, max out that block, and then when it comes down to the rebounding, I'm going to max out my defensive. And this is pretty much the way that we're going to go about making this build. 29 total defensive badges, 26 playmaking, 24 shooting with 22 finishing. Now, consider since we are in Season 8 extra badges adding on this build, then 4 from the rebirth, so a total of 12 extra badges. Now for the physicals, I did max out my speed, acceleration, went with a 70 vertical, so that way we do unlock contact dunks. Then for the stamina, this is going to be a 90, and we're going to be all set to go from here. Now, once it comes down to the takeovers, remember, 2 different takeovers means when activated, we're going to be able to get a plus 10, whether it's going to be towards our finishing, shot creating, being the shooting, sharpshooting as well, then the lockdown takeover. Now, all of these are a perfect option to pick from. For my liking, I'm going to go with extreme clamps coming up for the first one. Second one, I would consider ankle breaking shots or limitless range. Now, whichever one you decide to go with, let me know in the comment section right now. I'm going to go with ankle breaking shots, and as y'all can see, we were able to create the two-way pass first wing. Now, I'm liking the comparison of Jaylen Brown, really going to remind me of a Jason Tatum type build. Now, once we go ahead and get into the second build, let's go ahead and check out this name, the two-way slashing shot creator, 6'9" with lockdown takeover. Now, I'm telling y'all, the power forwards and the small forwards were easily some of the most toxic and glitchy builds that you were able to make this year. But when it comes down to the two-way slashing shot creator, literally, this was probably one of the more and most favorite builds all year on next gen. Especially when it comes down to the 1v1 court, you were able to see so many different types and varieties of this exact build that I'm about to bring to y'all. But just know, this is the #1 version that you're going to want to go ahead and make. Now, let's go ahead and get started, of course, by putting the build under the small forward position. Now, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the height, weight, and wingspan, go with the height of 6'9". As for the weight, we want to be the fastest possible, so I'm going to go with 190 and a wingspan of 7'4". Body shape, it really does not matter. I'm going to go with build, and now let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build. So, for the close shot, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to the 80s, 87 to be specific. Then, for the driving layup, go with an 84, max out that driving dunk, and go with a standing dunk anywhere from 80 all the way up to 90. Now, we're going to get 28 finishing badges, which in my book is going to be perfect. Now, for the shooting, I'm going to go ahead and max out that mid-range, go with a 79 three-pointer with a 71 free throw. That's going to give us 25 shooting badges. Now, from here, let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. So for the pass accuracy, I'm going to go with an 85. Ball handle 77 with a 72 speed with ball for 23 badges. Now, let's go ahead and check out what makes this build a two-way. So to get started with the defensive end, I'm going to go ahead and max out the perimeter defense. Go with a 76 steal, 80 block, 78 offensive rebound, and a maxed out defensive rebound. Now for the physicals, max out your speed. Go with the 75 acceleration, 80 vertical, and then the rest of the way, you can throw it into your stamina or make your own adjustments put towards any area of this build. Now, 28 finishing badges, at least 25 shooting, 23 playmaking, and 26 defensive in all. Now, any way that you feel like making the adjustments, go ahead and do so after we have created the build together. Now, for my liking, we have pretty much everything that we're going to need out of this build. The height, the speed, the contact dunks, the dribbling, shooting, finishing, everything is in this build. Now, we get the slashing, shot creating, lockdown, but then the glass cleaning takeover. So whichever way you decide to go about it, make sure that it's all based off your own preference. For my liking, just to be more like a stretch big, I'm going to go with pull-up precision, shot creating takeover. Secondly, I would really consider one of the lockdown or defensive takeovers. Now, whichever way you go about it should be based off your own playstyle and preference. And as y'all can see at number 3, we have created the LeBron James two-way slashing shot creator. Now, we have one final build lined up for y'all today, and I'm telling you, the builds are only going to continue to get better as well as even more likelier with the build names. So, the two-way sharpshooter at the small forward position. I'm telling you, one of the best versatile all-around builds that you're going to be seeing right now. But if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. What did y'all think about the previous two builds? And more so than anything, the small forwards are definitely going to be the best position when it comes down to next gen this year. Let me know if you think the same as well. But as for this build, I'm telling you, going to be very solid on the defensive end. Then with what it brings to the offensive, you're going to be able to do just about anything that you need and want. So again, thank y'all to those of you who did make it to this point in the video. We're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we need to go ahead and do is put this build under the small forward position. Now, for the height, weight, and wingspan, this is going to play the biggest factor in actually maintaining the build name itself. So right now, it does say 6'7", but we're going to go back to 6'8" later on. As for the weight, go with the lowest or anything that does not affect the speed. Then for the wingspan, we're going to go ahead and put this to 7'1". Now for the body shape, if you want to take up the most space on the defensive end, go ahead and pick builds. But if you do not care for that, go ahead and make sure that you base everything off of your own preference. Now, as for the badge count on this build, we are still going to be able to maintain easily over 100 badges at the minimum. Now, if you follow along key for key with what I'm doing, you're going to be able to get just that. But as for what we're going to be able to do with the finishing, I'm telling you, very solid and special with this build being called a two-way sharpshooter. So for the close shot, I'm going to go with an 84, driving layup of an 82. Then for the driving dunk, to get contact dunks, go with an 85 and a standing dunk of an 81 for 26 total badges. Now, for the shooting, go with an 87 mid-range, max out that three-pointer, and go with a free throw of anywhere from 73 all the way up to 80. Now, right there, we get 26 finishing badges, 28 shooting, and then here for the playmaking, we're going to be able to maintain 25. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the defensive end. This is where things are going to get a lot better. Go with the 79 perimeter defense, max out that steal, go with an 81 block, or you can max this out. Same thing is going to apply for the steal. I did go back down to an 82, but right here, we're going to be able to get 25 total defensive badges. Now, for the physicals, I'm going to go with an 80 speed, 78 acceleration, 70 vertical with an at least 80 stamina. And if you want to make an adjustment to your stamina, all you need to do is take some away from the free throw, and you're going to be all good to go. And this is pretty much what the build is going to be looking like. Between the playmaking and the defensive, we get a total of 50 badges. Now, we get the playmaking takeover, sharpshooting, shot creating, then we get the slashing. So for my liking, I'm gonna go with double shooting takeovers just to be that more overpowered. And as y'all can see together, we have created the two-way sharpshooter out of the small forward position. And that wraps it up for the top 3 best small forward builds on 2K Next Gen. And with all that being said, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And let's go ahead and reach 50 likes on today's video. With all that being said, thank you guys for supporting. Thank God for another opportunity. And Rich out.